You're listening to the Femtrepreneur Show. This is episode 26, and in this episode, we're talking about list building strategies that actually work. Hey guys, it's Mariah.
And I'm Megan, and Petrinia asked us, I realize now that I waste a lot of time working on stuff to build my email list with stuff that actually doesn't work. So my question is, what method have you used or noticed other entrepreneurs using that grew their list quicker? I want methods that are effective but simple and don't require a whole lot of setup or working on to implement. I'm finding that we waste too much time working on information to use for our opt-ins that don't work. So I am excited to answer this question. I feel like we get versions of this question a lot.
When I saw Petrinia's post, I was like, this is literally every sentence, every word she said. This just goes to show that I'm really good at copy stalking. I was like, everything that you just said is the exact reason why we created Your First 1K. Like, and everything on the sales, like literally everything she's saying in her question are phrases that I say on the sales page of Your First 1K, because that's exactly what our students and audience is struggling with. And it's what I was struggling with forever. Like for so long, I was doing all this crazy thing. I call it, throwing spaghetti at the wall, where I was just obsessed with experimenting with all these different hacks and tricks and different tips I saw that were all these little tiny, like, you spend a week setting up this dumb little click to tweet thing, whatever the hack is, and it doesn't give you any ROI. So the reason I created Your First 1K was because I had done I think I'd done 100 different list building experiments, and I boiled it down to like 16 that actually worked, that like actually are worth spending a minute of your time on. So today we're going to go through the top 4 most like high ROI, like very much you're going to get a good return for the time that you put into it. These list building strategies are things that are actually worth you setting aside the time to do because they have a big return on investment, instead of saying like, I spent a week doing this, list building experiment or trying this little hack that I saw on someone's blog and it doesn't ever work for you, which is sadly what we see all the time.
Yeah, and I know that as we go through these 4, some of these feel like they take more work than you may think you want to put into something. But I think, Mariah, you just made such a great point that they're worth the work. And so it's better to spend time, a little bit more time. None of these require too much time if you do it right. But it's better to spend a little bit of extra time on a strategy that will work versus spending 1 minute on 100 strategies that don't work and get you nowhere.
Exactly.
So I'm excited about sharing these 4. So
yeah, like I'd rather you jump in, spend like a week really focusing on something that then is going to get you hundreds of subscribers, thousands of subscribers down the line, than spending, 4 weeks doing 10 different strategies that get you nowhere. Like you said, it's like there's definitely a lot of people out there being like, do this, do that. None of it works. Trust me, I've been there.
Definitely. Okay, so the first one is content upgrades. So do you want to explain a little bit more about what that is and why it works?
So the reason content upgrades are so effective is because you're kind of plugging them into existing content that you might already have. You're plugging it into blog posts that you might already have. So in a lot of ways, it's not like you're starting from absolute scratch with content upgrades. You're leveraging what you've already done. So a content upgrade is just a post-specific opt-in freebie that is very aligned with and specific to that particular blog post that it's embedded into. So if I'm reading a blog post about the 5 paleo ingredients, then that blog post would have a content upgrade that's like, here's a shopping list for these 5 ingredients, or here's a recipe that here's 10 recipes you can make with these same 5 ingredients, but they have different flavors or something like that. Whereas a different blog post that's like, what berries you can eat on paleo should be like 5 berry recipes. Like, it should be very specific to what that post is about. That's why content upgrades work, is because they're more specific than just a general like site-wide opt-in. And this is something that you can really easily create a content upgrade and add it into posts that you already have. And then you'll start seeing automatically, like overnight, you'll start seeing like, oh, all these people are opting in from these blog posts that I never had any freebies attached to before. So that's really effective.
Yeah, and just to be clear for anyone who's maybe new to blogging or content upgrades or that concept, you want to make sure the whole point of this is to grow your email list. So make sure you're having them opt in to your email list before you give them the free download. I know a lot of people back in the day used to just like give free downloads without an opt-in. So if you have any existing blog posts where you are just giving away a PDF or a worksheet without anyone putting in their email list first, an easy opportunity is to go back and make them opt in for that first. That would be a super easy way to get started.
That's a really good point. Like a friend of mine who I helped with the sort of implementation of all this stuff a while ago, she had a free download attached to one of her blog posts that had almost 9,000 downloads at the time.
Wow.
But she didn't have it attached to an opt-in. It was just like, here, click this link and download the file. 9,000 people had downloaded that, and none of those people were on her email list. So I told her how to set up that content upgrade, and literally within 2 weeks, it had added another 1,000 people to her email list, which is just like, you probably have things that are on your site already that are not being leveraged. They're missing out on subscribers for you. So we want to be smart about that and not let all that stuff slip through the cracks.
Yeah. And one last thing too is if you're not sure what kind of content upgrade to do for an existing blog post that has a lot of traffic, look at what questions you've gotten in the comments. Like, what are some things that follow-up questions people have? And if you can create like a cheat sheet or any kind of free download that answers those questions, that'll be a really good place to start too.
Yeah. And if you're thinking about content upgrades, our episode about the 7 types of opt-ins, any one of those can be used as a content upgrade. Any one of those, like a tracker, a cheat sheet, a checklist. So we'll put the link to that episode as well. And there's a free download with examples of each type of opt-in.
Yep.
Perfect. Okay. So the second super high ROI list building strategy that actually works is webinars. And we pretty much built up our entire business with webinars. I was doing webinars at least once a week, if not twice a week, for like all of 2015 and a lot of last year as well. And now we only have to do webinars like twice a month, which is nice and luxurious. But when I first started, my main goal was to build my email list really quickly. And the best way to do that was with webinars. So I went all out doing tons and tons of webinars with other co-hosts. So the secret was kind of that the reason this worked so well was that it was 2 of us both promoting the webinar. So having someone else promoting the webinar to their audience got all these new people onto my email list who otherwise would never know who I am. So even if you do a solo webinar, like Megan, your first solo webinar is always such a great example of how it grew your list.
Yeah, do you want me to talk about
Yeah.
it? Yeah, I was scared to do a joint venture or have a co-host on a webinar my first time because I think I didn't want anyone else to see my failure. So I decided to do my first one alone and just basically approach it like a test webinar, make sure that technology worked, and hey, if people showed up, awesome. But yeah, I had a really small list at the time, and I ended up just through promoting on social media and sending out an email to my tiny list and asking people to share. I ended up getting it was like 100 new people to my email list from this webinar, which is huge. Because I think at the time I had less than 100 people on my email list. So it like doubled my email list essentially just from doing one solo webinar where I talked about Squarespace. So it really validated to me that even if you're starting from a small point, you can still grow a webinar, even if it's just you, or grow your email list through webinars, even if you don't have the power of someone else promoting it. But obviously, if you want to grow faster, like Petrinia does, then doing a co-hosted webinar where you're both promoting it is definitely the best way and the fastest way to grow with webinars.
Yeah, doing webinars like this is how you can add, 300, 500, 1,000 new people to your email list in the span of like 5 days or something.
Yeah.
It's what we call a blitz strategy because it's something that you do it once and it's very highly concentrated. You get a lot of subscribers all at once. Whereas there's other type of strategies like a content upgrade is like, it's always running in the background. It's on your blog. Like you're not actively doing this limited time promotion for it. So yeah, the webinars are super high ROI. They do take a little bit of time to set up and put them together. But even if you do just a pitch-free, only a list building webinar, so worth it and so awesome for building your list. It's like literally the fastest way. When I stopped doing weekly webinars, our email list like flatlined. Yeah. Like our email list growth plateaued when I stopped doing my weekly webinars. And when you do them every single week, it just works.
Yeah, and you get into a good rhythm with it. Mm-hmm. And as far as the setup of a webinar, you can do it really simply. It doesn't have to be super complicated. But I think that a lot of people feel like they can't do a webinar if they don't have something to pitch. And I think we have found, even recently, mm-hmm. the power of a pitch-free webinar and promoting it as a pitch-free webinar will do so much for your list growth. So even if you don't have a product yet and you're just really at ground zero trying to build your email list, do pitch-free webinars. Don't even try to sell anything. Promote it as pitch-free. And I think you'll see even more people come in and people will value what you're teaching even more. So definitely don't let that hold you back. It's a great way to test an idea for a product. So especially if you don't know yet, play around with different topics that are in your niche and see which one gets the biggest traction and the biggest impact. And that'll be a really good indicator for what you should keep working on as far as the product goes.
Yeah, we did this pitch-free webinar recently that I didn't have very high expectations for. I was just like, it doesn't have a pitch, there's nothing for sale, whatever. And it totally blew up, I think very much because of it having no pitch. So it was much more shareable. People were sharing out the registration page, sharing it out to their audiences because they didn't feel like, oh, I'm sharing something that they're going to get sold on later or something like that. It was just completely pitch-free. So if you don't have anything to sell yet, that's perfect. Just still be doing webinars just to grow your list and to be building up that goodwill as well.
Yeah.
Okay. So the third strategy that actually works that you should definitely put some time into is creating a free email course. So I created our free email course for Femtrepreneur called Build a Profitable Blog almost 2 years ago now. And when I set it live, it was such a huge list builder for me. I think I had probably, a couple hundred people on my email list at the time when I launched it, but I just asked every person on my list to share it out. And within 24 hours, it had added 200 new people to my list. So at the time, I only had 400 subscribers. So that was really huge. And that was awesome. And since then, the free email course has just been going in the background, completely automated. I haven't changed it or don't have to do any maintenance for it. And it usually gets between 50 and 100 new subscribers for us every single day, which is amazing. And it's just something that literally made it once. Yes, it took me a week to put it together. But once I created it, it then is working for me in the background, doing the heavy lifting every single day. And it's so much more high value than download my free ebook or, get this, get that, a free course. It has so many benefits as we're talking about because while we're recording this, we're doing our free email course challenge that so many of you guys are participating in, which is just amazing. And we do want to offer that you guys can download the free email course workbook that outlines the 5 emails that you need to have in your own free email course. It's kind of like a script of everything that each email should include. So if you guys don't have the workbook already, definitely download it. It goes with this episode.
Yeah. And I think one of the things I want to touch on as we're doing the challenge right now, we have gotten quite a few questions about what type of content, as far as a medium, goes in a free email course. A lot of people think maybe it has to be really video heavy, and actually free email courses are really great as text based. A few images to reinforce a point always help. But our really successful free email course is text based with a few images. So it really can be that simple. Think about it. You're going into someone's inbox. So it needs to be something they can just quickly read and feel like they got value from and take action from. But it doesn't have to be this high production, create videos, create extra stuff to go with it.
Yeah, definitely. It can be super simple. It should be super simple because people just want sort of quick little 5-minute lessons that they can go through for 5 minutes per day.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So free email courses are awesome. You make them once and then they do all the hard work for you ongoing for as long as you want them to. Super easy for people to share, and it's just a really high value thing that you can offer your audience. Okay. So the last super effective list building strategy, and these are really the ones that we focus on. we create content upgrades, and content upgrades can go with YouTube videos, podcast episodes. Like, it doesn't just have to be on your blog. Create a content upgrade for whatever type of content that you create on a weekly basis. But these are the things that we do consistently, is focusing on content upgrades, webinars, the free email course, and the fourth one, which is giveaways. So a giveaway is something, again, it's a blitz strategy like a webinar, because it happens in a limited time period, but you get so many subscribers in a very short period of time during the giveaway promotion. We do what are called viral giveaways, not guaranteed to go viral, but can add a few thousand people to your email list in a short period of time, which is amazing. So basically, how a viral giveaway works is you want to use some kind of software like KingSumo, or I think Gleam does it. There's a couple different.
Yeah, Rafflecopter is another one I've heard of. So there are definitely options out there.
There's different options depending on your budget and what platform you're on and all that kind of stuff. But you want to get something that includes social sharing in how the giveaway works. So basically, you have a giveaway, you're giving away awesome prizes that will attract your ideal customer. And when they enter the giveaway, they can earn more entries and therefore earn more chances to win if they share it out with their audience, or they share it out on Facebook, or they share it out on Twitter. So it gets people sharing things like crazy, and that's how it goes viral, and it goes far beyond your existing audience.
Yeah, and something I want to touch on with giveaways too, that I think we've seen people do, especially when they have a product, is the only thing that is in the giveaway is their product, or the main incentive is that they're giving away a spot in their course or a version of their product. And unless your product or course already has this like huge reputation, that's not really a great place to start, because the whole point, especially when we're list building and we're list building strategically, which we are, then you want your giveaway to have the product or course in mind, and you want this giveaway to attract a prospective student. So giving away a spot in that course right away, you could do that, but it shouldn't be the main incentive. You should have other things. Like we've done some before where if we're attracting online course creators or people who are interested in that, then it'll be some software. We'll give away some software seats like Squarespace site, ConvertKit, or maybe lead pages. Like we've done a few different options, and then maybe also a spot in our program since it does have a reputation and we want to get someone a free spot in our giveaway. And then even like resources. I think one time you did like a webinar focused one, and you gave away a microphone and a webcam. So definitely think about what type of resources, gear, software, products people need and want. And that also is directly in line with who you would want to buy your product or course later.
Yeah, you want your prizes to be specific enough to attract your ideal person, but you don't want it to just be your product because it doesn't have the reputation or the cachet yet. And what you don't want to do is give away like an iPad, because if you try to give away an iPad or a MacBook or whatever, something really basic, then everyone and their mom just wants an iPad. It's not specific enough to be attracting the right people to your email list. So yeah, you might get 1,000 people enter your giveaway and you're like, wow, new subscribers. And none of them are actually interested in like how to write your first novel or something like that. Yeah. So make sure that you're using prizes that would really only appeal to your ideal customer who would then want to buy your paid product, not just like trying to get the masses to sign up.
Yeah, because we don't want, when we're building strategically, like we're trying to, you don't want to have this like fluffy email list full of people who aren't interested in you and what you have to say and what your products are. Otherwise, you're just paying for people to be on your email list and take up a spot.
Yeah,
that you
more
don't
is
need.
not. I mean, it's like more is not always better, as we know intimately.
That's a good point. While we're talking about list building, just a reminder to everyone that like having the most email subscribers does not equal being successful. Like you can have a small list and it can convert really well. So don't worry. Don't get too caught up in the numbers. We're talking about list building, not because everyone needs 50,000 email subscribers, but because you just want a smart, strategic list full of people who are actually interested in what you talk about and teach.
Yeah. I mean, we can do more with 20,000 subscribers than a lot of people can than a lot of people can do with 200,000 subscribers. So it's not about the number. It's about how engaged are these people? How invested are they in you and your whole movement and whatever it is that you're creating with your blog and your course and everything like that. And also just thinking, one of the things that one of my mastermind friends asked me recently was like, oh, how, well, then what are your goals for your email list growth? And I said, I actually said, we want 50,000 subscribers. And she was like, why? Like, what is the 50,000 just like general subscribers? And she was like, but how many leads do you need to opt in for a really specific opt-in in order to convert into customers? Just thinking a lot more specifically rather than like, oh, I hope we get a 2%, conversion rate on our entire huge email list, thinking more in segments of like, well, I really only need 2,000 people to opt into this one opt-in. That's super aligned with my course idea. And then a higher percentage of those people are going to become customers rather than just thinking in this like, the bigger, the better. Just more thinking about like strategic leads. So just in general, nice little tip there is like the size isn't as important as making sure you're growing, a quality list and a strategic list. And like people, it really is quality over quantity for sure. And we've seen that again and again with lots of people. So
definitely. So just a quick recap, the 4 strategies we recommend that you start out with would be content upgrades, webinars, free email course, and giveaways. So if you want to learn more about all of this, go to thefemshow.com/26 for the show notes to this episode, and you'll find the links to all of the resources we mentioned, including how you can download the Write Your Free Email Course workbook. And if you want to discuss this episode with us and our whole community of awesome, ambitious entrepreneurs, make sure you join our free Facebook group at thefemshow.com/community. And as we're recording this, I think we're about to hit 6,000 people in that Facebook group.
Yeah.
So you definitely want to join. Everyone's super active and supportive. So definitely hop over there.
It's crazy active. I can't even keep up. It's so active. I'm trying. I try to respond to everyone's posts, and I'm going through every single one, and it's just amazing. I'm also going to just shamelessly plug that when this episode comes out, Your First 1K, our program that teaches you how to get your first 1,000 subscribers and make your first $1,000 online with a tiny digital product, is going to be open for enrollment, I think, when this episode comes out.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
So, shameless plug, go sign up for Your First 1K. It covers in very much detail every single one of these strategies that we just talked about. So if you're like, okay, sounds good, I want to do webinars, I want to have content upgrades, I want to do giveaways and free email courses, all the tech trainings, all the strategy, step by step, every single detail. Trust me, my brain is extremely needs it to be very practical, very laid out step by step, has to be idiot proof. So everything is very step by step, and it's all in Your First 1K. So if you need help implementing this and you want to do it in a community of other people on the same journey as you, join us in Your First 1K. It's awesome.
Where can they go to find out?
They can go to yourfirst1k.co.
There you go. And Your First 1K holds a very special spot because that's how we met. I signed up for that when you first launched it, and now here we are.
I know.
A few years later.
It's amazing. We have so many, actually, that's why Fiona is on our team as well. She was a Your First 1K student originally, I think in the first class, maybe in the second class. But yeah, a lot of our team members now were originally Your First 1K students, which is nice.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm excited for you guys to join us in the program if it's a good fit for you. And if you like this episode, subscribe to the Femtrepreneur Show on iTunes and leave a rating and a review. And if you're watching this on YouTube, please leave a comment below with your thoughts on this episode. And remember to hit the like button and subscribe. It means a lot to us. And don't forget to go to thefemshow.com to submit your question for us. If you want us to answer your question on the show and give you a shout out, go to thefemshow.com, and there's a big block right on the front page where you can type in your question. All right, guys, we'll see you next time.